Hi everybody, this is Kevin and I'm doing another Zoom chat, but this one's slightly different because Margaret, my friend Margaret, is away in Australia. So the time difference is way out. Margaret's in the evening and I'm doing this in the morning at 10 to 9 in the morning. So hi Margaret, how are you?
I'm very well, thanks.
Good, good, good. And Margaret, what I want to do is I always try and find out a bit of the life behind the person, behind the name. So Margaret, can you tell everybody that's going to be watching where you were born, what your family background, what your parents perhaps did?
Oh, well, my family background is my father's father came out from Scotland and married a Welsh lady. And my mother's father came out from England.
Oh, right, okay. Well, nice mixture there.
Yeah, I know. And settled in Perth and married probably an Australian woman who had a few descendants of being Australian, I think. Anyway, Dad was a solicitor in the city and Mum lived in Perth, and she was, they met it during the war actually. And she was a staff sergeant in New Guinea and Dad was a major, and
all right,
that's how they met.
Yeah.
So if it wasn't for the war,
That's right. Yeah.
Anyway, so but his father, Dad's father, said, when you're doing law, you should be all rounded. So you should do a little job in the country for a while and see what it's like there with people as well before you come back to the city. And and Dad didn't want to do that, so he answered a job and he asked for a lot of money, thinking he'd be turned down. And the guy said, "Oh, he must be crash hot. I'll get him down here." Anyway, he went down to this little country town about 6-hour drive from Sydney, and it's right on the edge of the Hay Plains or the Western Plains, where there's no more hills till Adelaide, and it's just flat wheat and sheep area. And he just fell in love with it.
Wow. Excellent.
So he stayed there, and then when he met Mum during the war, she came back, and it's quite a different world for her too, because she'd been over in Perth and then suddenly she was, and that's how they started their story. And then they just,
sorry, go on.
Yeah, and then my sister was born and then I was born, and we were just raised in this little country town with 1,000 people.
Wow.
And it's still only got 1,000 people. It's just,
it's not grown. It's not grown at all.
Well, young people leave it, and then more people are born. Some come back to it. Yeah. So, but it's really lovely. I loved growing up in the country. It was very carefree and barefoot and things like that.
Yeah. So from your arrival, you lived in the countryside, and then what sort of education?
They sent me, I went to boarding school starting in 6th class. My sister was already there. So I sort of feel I left home when I was about 11, I guess.
Oh, right.
Because
okay. Wow, yeah.
you just go home for the holidays then.
Yeah.
And most of your life is in boarding school. So when I finished school, I came back home, and because I was could draw quite well, and that Mum decided to send me to see if I could get into art school in Sydney. But she kept me home for a year as a sort of gap year so she thought I might mature more.
Right.
I don't think I did. My girlfriend and I spent half the year just following the rodeo with a horse in a horse float on the back of her father's ute, and I used to take pictures and she'd sort of ride in the barrel rides and stuff like that. So we'd cover a fair bit of territory in New South Wales and Victoria.
Yeah. So that was that. So you went on, as you say, went to boarding school and things like that. But what did you do after school when you finished school?
When I finished school, I spent that gap year, and then I I got into art school, the National Art School in Sydney. So the next year I was living in the YWCA and in the middle of the city and just catching the bus out to the art school for 5 years full time.
Yeah, yeah.
Although the last 2 years I was in a flat moved out into a flat with another girlfriend that was at YWCA for a while.
Yeah, yeah.
And so that was amazing. I just love being not known by anyone, because in a little town, someone would say, Sandy, I saw your daughter down the end of the street and I'll tell you what she was doing. But when I was in Sydney, there was like nobody. It was great.
Yeah. So you finished college, and then what happened after college? What did you do for a job for the years after?
Not too much at first. It's very hard when you do art to actually suddenly find a job.
Yeah.
So I went on to the Dole for a while. And then I do sort of little jobs around, not too much though. And then while I was at art school, I sort of met this guy. So we ended up getting married and then having children. But I done various jobs like illustrating poetry book and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
What else did I do? Yeah. Various portraits. Portraits.
Okay. So you
try entries in portrait competitions and things like that.
So your children, one of them was someone called Lauren.
Yeah.
And that's how you and I met.
Yeah. She was crazy about horses from the day she was born, pretty much.
Yeah.
And we couldn't give her a horse we were living in the inner west in Sydney. So the only thing she got as a present one Christmas was a rocking horse. But we used to take her out to, there's a suburb, Randwick, where all the racehorses are in that. And they have stables with ponies so people can do pony rides. So she had lessons out there.
Ah, okay.
And then, yeah.
So
when she left school.
Sorry, go on. Yeah. Carry on. Yeah.
Oh, no, I was just going to say she went up to her sister who was living up in Cape Tribulation at the top of Queensland.
Yeah.
And she used to be a dive instructor out on the reef there. So she stayed with her. And she met a girl because she was taking people riding through the Daintree jungle. And one of the English girls, who was also part of the stable, said, you should go to England and work with polo horses. And she thought, oh yeah, 2 years of, it's going there. And then that was it. Basically, she was based there.
Yeah. And, when was it we met? Was it 2019, 2018 at Lauren's home?
2019, wasn't it?
It was the early part of the year, wasn't it?
Yeah, you were painting or something.
I was doing. So that people understand, the connection with Margaret is that Margaret's daughter Lauren is a client of mine, and Margaret was over on holiday, I think for a month or something. So that's how I first met Margaret. But then Margaret, myself, and Steve and Cynthia, we did a lovely long walk up around the punch bowl at Hindhead. It was great. We loved it.
Oh, that was beautiful.
Yeah.
That was beautiful. And
but
Cynthia.
In the situation we're in at the moment, obviously none of that can happen. But when people are allowed to travel and things like that, when you come over again, we want to do. Yeah, we've all said that we want to do another walk with you. So, and we'll take you somewhere different.
Oh. Oh, there was a fog too, so we couldn't see right across the mountains.
That's right. It was very foggy. Yeah.
But then fogs also are very lovely when you're walking through the bush.
Oh yeah,
you can get these moody shots. And,
But the other thing, the career that we're going to touch on a little bit in a little while, we'll keep that for now. But you and your partner, your husband, Steve, you love to go trekking, don't you? And how some of your treks, I think, go on for quite a long time.
What's that? You've moved
You're trekking, you're hiking.
Yes,
You do. You go out and away for quite a while, don't you?
we do. We usually go for about in for a walk for about a week, and then we come out and we get supplies, and then we go for another one. That's usually down in Tasmania.
Yeah, yeah.
We're hoping we can get down there. We booked tickets to take our car on the ship down to Tassie, but at the moment we've got some COVID cases here, so Victoria's going, nah, not coming through here.
You're not coming through this way. But
Yeah.
can you try and explain to people, when you're out on your hikes and you're trekking, what are you seeing? I know I've seen some of your photographs, and when I've seen certain ones, it makes me cringe because I hate snakes.
Oh, snakes. Oh yes. Well, in Tasmania, there's only 3 snakes, and one's a copperhead, one's a tiger, tiger snake, and the other one's just a little tiny whip snake. Green, it's olive snake, but they're all poisonous. And I think the tiger snake's about number 8 on the world's most poisonous snake list.
Oh, is it? I'm glad I'm over here.
But there are so many in the bush.
Yeah.
So you go walking, and at one point I was walking along and I saw one right in front of me, and he was reared up with his neck fanned out. I said, Steve, snake, let's go over here. So we walked over. But they're used to like kangaroos hopping by and wallabies and things like that. So we just pretended we were like, fauna.
What did you do?
Local
Start
fauna.
You start.
But I came across one once that was just about to shed its skin, but I didn't know, but its eyes were blue.
Right,
and I was taking photos of it, and it was coiled up, and then it started raising its head and looking at me. And I thought, wow, look, blue eyes, click, I better go now. And then I looked that up, and it said that when they're about to shed their skin, it comes away from the eyes, and there's a film that guards the eyes while the skin's shedding. And they're quite cranky when that's happening. So I'm glad I moved away.
Yeah. It's so
yeah. But I don't mind snakes. If you walk away, they go away too. It's only when you accidentally probably step on one that.
Yeah. We've got the only venomous snake we've got over here is the adder, and if I'm walking, if we're out walking during the summer, anything like that, my eyes are glued to the ground to see everything around me.
I don't like spiders.
No, I don't like spiders either. No.
But not all spiders. I just don't like the big huntsmans. The ones like dinner plates.
Yeah. Oh, we don't get them over.
And they're free range.
Right.
So they don't stay in webs at all.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, no.
They like to hop in cars and run across windscreens. And
oh really?
Yeah. And then you go, whoa.
Yeah, exactly. So when you're out doing your hiking, your trekking, how many miles do you think you do in one trip?
I'm not sure. We like to sort of camp a bit. In Tasmania, there's so much fresh water, like pure water, beautiful lakes and tarns and things like that. And so you can stop and camp beside, a really nice tarn for the night, rather than sort of really get tired walking in for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah.
We probably maybe do about 10 Ks for the first half of some of the walks, and then camp. Sometimes we've walked out. That was only when there was a bushfire, though, when we could see the smoke, but we had no phone connection and we weren't sure where it was. But at night time, the sky was glowing. Yeah. That was about 2 years ago when they had really bad fires.
Oh yes, they did. That's right. Yeah. So you went. I will tell people you do. No, let me get this. Cake sculptures, is it?
Yes, sculpting cakes.
Sculpting.
So when
tell everybody How did you get into something like that?
Well, once Lauren started school, and she's the youngest child, I
Right.
thought I should get a full-time job.
Yeah.
And I had a friend who knew this lady who had a cake shop in Paddington in Sydney, and she did sculpted cakes, and they were sculpted out of mostly chocolate mud cake or, like that, yeah. And then they were covered in buttercream back then. And they used to do flat cakes too, and they would cover it in buttercream, and then they would paint on it if someone wanted a portrait or something like that. And because I did portraits and could paint on flat surface buttercream,
Yeah.
so you got to have a really soft crust. It's like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Otherwise you just scratch into it. The buttercream we made had a slight crust on the top. So with a fine brush, I could paint things. Because I sculpted as well, I ended up doing quite a few sculptures.
Yeah, yeah.
So I got into that, and I did that for 8 years. And then I met this girl that was also working there, and she did beautiful wedding cakes. She'd done graphic art, and so she was very clever with her designs for the wedding cakes. So we were a bit tired of working in Paddington with this lady. So Steve said, and a friend of his said, we'll set up a cake shop in Balmain for you, which is near where we live, or I live. And so we had our own cake shop called Planet Cake.
Yeah, brilliant. And have you still got the shop now or not?
No. We had that. We opened it in 1995.
Right. Okay.
And then we kept it till about 2003. And then I wanted to get back to a bit of ordinary painting, and got a bit tired of cakes. There's only so much chocolate cake you can eat. And
Well, yeah. But I've seen some of the photographs of the designs that you come up with, and there was one, and you're going to send me some photographs, and I will try and add them to this video, or I will add them to make a slideshow. And the one that really, the very first one I saw, absolutely blew me away, because I could not believe it was a cake. And it was of this, I can only describe it as a monster sitting on a...
Oh, the bunyip.
The what? Sorry, what's it called?
It's a bunyip.
A bunyip.
Last year at the Brisbane Cake Show, I was head of Team Australia. There were 3 of us on my team. And then we were in competition with Team International, which had South African, a Scotsman, and an Englishman on their team. And the theme gets set by some other cake person. So it was a very famous lady over in America called Karen Portillo, and she sets hard competitions. The cake had to be 1.5 meters high. Everything had to be edible except the structure, which had to support the cake.
Yeah.
And the theme was mythical creature. So in Australia, we have an Aboriginal mythical creature, which is a bunyip, and it's this nasty sort of creature that lives in billabongs, which are waterholes.
Yeah, it was a fearsome looking thing, I know.
Yeah, so I thought, oh, let's do that. So, yeah.
But when you said let's do that, did the other, was it 2 members of your team think she's mad?
Yeah. Well, yeah, they thought it was a good idea. I did a sketch, and the lady that's on our team, there's a guy, Paul and Verushka, a little tiny lady, and she's like a little dynamo. Yeah. So I did a drawing of her beside it, as it might seem on the table. And because it was 1.5 meters, I thought if we have him sitting, at least 1 meter is supported by his legs hanging over, and then the other meter can be the body part and the arms. And then I thought maybe he should be wandering into the kitchen. Maybe he's there because he wants a cupcake to eat. So we put a cupcake in his hand. But then I worked out all the inner structure. And then Paul is very good with cutting out everything. So I sent all the templates down to him, and he sort of cut them out beforehand. But with the competition, we only have 2 days to make these creatures.
Wow.
And we have from, I think it's 9 o'clock in the morning till 4 in the afternoon, and 2 days. And then it's instruments down, and that's it. And all these people are sitting in chairs watching us do it. And we had this lady from, I forget her name now, from England. She's quite well known, but it skips me at the moment. Anyway, she's very funny. So she was commentating along with 2 other people who were the judges. So if we did anything wrong, we were disqualified. If we sort of slipped something in that we hadn't sort of had on display, that would be it.
Yeah.
But they commentate all the time, so they're like, oh my God, look at Team Australia. You know, they've got a crack in the back of the neck. You know, we're like, shush. We're like sweating away, and all these people sitting in these chairs watching us. And then they're, Team International, theirs has got a lean on it. It's leaning, I think we might fall. So this goes on the whole 2 days, and then it's everything down, and then they vote on it, and we don't know who the winner is till we have a little cake Oscars that night. Yeah, which they do in Birmingham, actually, massive cake Oscars back there.
Well, I do remember when you were when we met, you were heading off to Birmingham last year.
Yes, because the lady who was on Team International and I joined up to do the Great Barrier Reef at that cake show in Brisbane as well, and we worked on it for about 2 weeks before the show started. It was huge. The shark that we had floating was about 4 meters long. We had to get this truck to lift it up into the, it was to get it out to the show. Anyway, we were finalists for the what was it, best showpiece for 2019, and we were finalists, so we had to go, and we won.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. I'm sure you remember you saying that you'd won. That was brilliant. Yeah.
I know. It's like they're announcing it, and you're like, and then it's sort of unreal. But anyway, that was very good.
Yeah, that was great. Yeah, but as I say, if you can send me some photographs, that'd be brilliant, and I'll see what I can do with getting people to see your designs. But with you being an artist and with this cake sculptures, is this where Lauren gets her talent from? Because she does pottery, doesn't she?
Yes, I used to teach pottery at her primary school.
Ah, right, okay. Yeah.
Because I did pottery as well. And
yes, yeah. Well, you're a multi-talented family. That's all I can say.
I couldn't find anything to settle on. Anyway, so yeah, I went to one of her classes that she took in Chichester. Yeah, that was fun. No, she's into other things too. She's into sewing and woodblock cuts.
Oh, does she? Yeah. I've seen some of the pottery that she does, and you know, it's fantastic. Yeah. In fact, in my kitchen, I've got one of her coffee cups, which she kindly gave.
I've got one too.
I'm waiting for the full set to arrive, but I don't know with the family she's got. With hang on, let me think. Let me get the names. Max, Willow, and of course we've got the youngest Molly.
Oh, she's so cute. She's got red hair too.
Is she? Oh, right.
Yeah.
Well, I've not met Molly yet, so I'm looking forward to that. She'll probably be a teenager by the time I get to see him again.
I'll send you a photo. She's very cute.
That'd be great. Yeah, she'd be lovely. But I know Lauren wanted to create her own studio at the house.
Yeah.
And I don't know whether she's actually achieved that because of everything we've been going through.
Well, they built that next to the garage.
That's right, yeah.
Yeah, and then Bonnie moved in his soccer playing things. She's like, what? What are you doing? He's got his, his table with the little things you turn to kick the ball.
Yeah.
And she's going, buy me. This is my studio.
Yeah. So James has jumped in there and taken it over, has he? He has,
and that's only just happened. Maybe I wonder if he got that for Christmas.
Well, if
Yeah.
he did, if he did, it must have come from Lauren. So it's her fault.
Yeah. That's
But
right.
no, that's great. Yeah, it is. In fact, I have messaged Lauren because I'm hoping that she will agree to do one of these chats with me. Perhaps now you're doing them, perhaps it might encourage, but I also want to do one with James, but whether that'll come off or not, I don't know. James, I think would be particularly great because of his profession.
Yeah.
It would be brilliant, and what he's achieved during his career, and that, of course, you mentioned just now with polo. That would be a fantastic one to do.
Yeah.
But fingers crossed.
She can tell you how he proposed to her.
That will be something that we could have a chat about in a Zoom chat. But
Yes,
yeah, absolutely.
That's a very funny story.
Is it? Oh, I look forward to that. Then I'm going to have to definitely ring her up and have a chat about this. Look, Margaret, we've got to about half an hour, believe it or not, already. It's
already.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. And that's brilliant. And we've touched on everything that I wanted to talk to you about, and that was brilliant. I really, excuse me, I really appreciate your time, and for Steve to get your audio and everything working. It's very kind of him. So, Margaret,
he teaches at Sydney Uni. He's a professor there, so
right.
He's been doing Zoom all year because
well, of course.
Because there's no students. Yeah,
that's right, exactly. So, Margaret, look, thank you very much for your time. Much appreciated. To you and Steve, stay safe and a very happy New Year to you.
Yeah, you guys stay safe too. It's getting scary.
It is getting scary over here now. Yeah, absolutely. So, anyway, Margaret, you take care of yourself, and we'll catch up again on Facebook and on Messenger or what. We must keep in touch. Yes, we must. Okay. Thank you very much, Margaret. That's okay. Thanks. Bye-bye for now. Catch you later. Bye. Bye.